Thanks again, Todd. And questions during the panel. Todd will be back up again with John Elder and Mike Bulger, who's coming next. So I'm up next, and I spot a lot of very interesting themes in John's and Todd's talk. So Aon is obviously a global organization. We in Creme Global are an SME, and we're trying to tackle some of these interesting challenges too with a smaller team and less resources. So what I want to talk about now is a concept that we've been working on in Creme Global over a number of years, and it's called the democratization of data analytics. So being a physicist by training, I suppose I like to boil things down to first principles and trying to simplify things. So what is democracy we talked about in the office? Well, we figured there was three things that are important. One is equal access. Everybody has to have equal access to the data, the technology, whatever you're interested in, but in democracy it's just equal access to the process. Secondly, people have to be able to have their say, so they have to get a vote. And thirdly, you need some kind of structure or system in place. So let's kind of try to keep those three things in our mind as we talk through this democratization process that we can think about for data and data analytics in particular. So, you know, I'll go through some big trends that you'll all be very aware of being in this industry. But first one is just simply globalization. With the internet and data flowing at incredible rates around the world, the global market is now just accessible to everybody all the time. Mobile devices, you know, having this little device in your pocket, which is equivalent to probably a very powerful workstation when I was in college, is an incredible resource that people have. They're always on, always connected, sending data. Data is powering this revolution, really, that's coming about through connected health, connected devices, all of that. We all know about the power of social media and the growth in social media and how influential that is in the world today. I'll move on with the sharing economy, and Todd mentioned this as well. Two excellent examples are Airbnb. I heard the Hilton Hotel Group said they were going to add 30,000 rooms this year in a massive investment. And then the Airbnb group said, well, we're going to add that in the next 2 weeks without any investment. Incredible. So, well, minimal investment, a few more servers maybe, which isn't much. So sharing economy, Uber, you know, I've met people building their own business on Uber. So it's democratizing access and ability to build a business and to achieve through technology and sharing. We have Karma here in Ireland, who we'll hear from tomorrow, who are doing some interesting things around carpooling and the sharing economy. The next trend is crowdsourcing. Wikipedia, people volunteering their time, their expertise, collaboration on a global scale. And this kind of comes out in another form in the open source software community, and this is the Linux Penguin. But there's so many open source tools now that it is incredible the amount of tools out there. It's becoming confusing even to understand what's the best tool. Even if you pick the best tool, what's the best library? You might find 7 or 8 different libraries for a particular analytics problem you want to solve. So it's confusing. It feels like data is kind of exploding, but this is like the Wild West of you know, explosion in data and growth, and it's not. It's sort of unstructured, but it's incredible what's being achieved. It's like the land grab, I suppose, in the Wild West, but whereas land is a limited resource that needs to be competed for, data is just an expanding resource, which is incredibly creating massive opportunities. So I suppose you're all very familiar with you know, the data age. We were moving into the robots will take over. We'll find out more about that at lunchtime, and maybe we'll have a chat about it on the panel. So it's truly, you know, come along that we are well embedded in the data age. So that just means there's so much data out there, and data growth is exponential. And we've seen statistics that less than 4% of all data that gets created ever gets analyzed. And because of this massively growing data set, that's a huge challenge, even just to keep up with that amount of analytics on the data. So how are we going to analyze more data to make better decisions and get value from this data? That's a huge challenge. It's probably 10 times less than 4% since we heard that statistic a number of months ago, because just the growth of data is just so exponential and so fast. So There's huge challenges, but also huge opportunities in data and analytics. And how are we going to make the most of that as a community and as a society? So I want to step back a little bit and talk about Crem Global and what we do. So we're 10 years old this year, and that was part of the inspiration for trying to run an event like this, because we wanted to celebrate, I suppose, being a data scientist or passionate about data, finally realized that our time has come, and it's time to really try to explore the opportunities in data. But what we do in Crem Global is interesting in that we gather and curate data sets from all over the world. And what we do with that is we provide predictive intake modeling services. And those are analytics around consumers, what they're consuming. So we have a lot of data on consumers from all over the world. We've data on nutrition, we've data on chemicals. So we look at nutritional impacts, nutritional scenarios on different populations. So we work with governments and industry to understand health, scenarios, reformulation strategies, things like that. We also look at safety of chemicals and exposure. So data on its own isn't enough. These data sets are complicated. We have to bring them together from diverse sources that were never designed to work together in the first place. And we do this through cloud-based applications. So we try to make our applications user-friendly so that they're accessible to business analysts, decision makers, who would not necessarily have deep training in data science. So the data is presented in a form that can help people make better decisions. So this is just one of our graphs looking at fragrance exposure for a population and by body part and by different populations, different aspects. So we try to present the data in a user-friendly format to help people make better decisions. So ultimately, what we're doing is we're gathering data, we're developing models, we're putting these on the cloud, making them accessible, and trying to join the dots between data, the models, or the data science, and decision makers. And this is a huge challenge. First of all, getting the data in the right format. It's never structured in the right way. You have to do a lot of work to clean the data, install the data, and validate it in your models. You have to develop these models to combine data sets that are coming from all sorts of different sources. And then you have to convince decision makers that this is a good model and it's reliable. And that's part of what Todd was saying. If it's not accepted, there's no point. So communication between us, decision makers, in a form that they can understand and accept is all part of this triangle. So as a predictive modeling company, you'd think we'd have this figured out by now, having done it for 10 years. But we find huge challenges in this work. And even with our own data sets inside the company and the data sets we try to manage on behalf of clients, we're just finding huge challenges in gathering that data, connecting to that data, using the right tools and analytics, and then trying to present it in such a way that people can make better decisions. So let's talk about some challenges for a moment. And I think everybody is experiencing similar challenges. So first of all, no data, no product. This is a very simple one. When we started in business, we had software for analytics, and we expected our clients to upload data into this software. After a few months of seeing this cloud-based system with no data, we got a bit worried because we're not going to have any customers anymore if they can't get data into the models and run the models. So we quickly pivoted, I think you call it, and started providing data along with our analytics. It's a full service. And then all of that expertise that we built up over the years in gathering this data, putting it in the models, checking it against published results, was hugely beneficial. So that's the first thing. We also find that the workflow of data analytics is kind of stuck in the desktop age, where people might email Excel files around to each other. And that's dangerous in a number of instances. Who's got the latest version of the Excel file? Okay, you might put it on the shared drive, but who's made changes to that Excel file? Those changes probably not tracked very well. There's no process there. The workflow is kind of broken. Things have moved on with the likes of Airbnb and Uber. They understand that you have to collaborate using user-friendly cloud-based systems. So let's think about the workflow. Thirdly, this stuff, it has a fairly significant barrier to entry for, and I'm not thinking of the Aons in the world who can hire hundreds of data scientists, but your average business or company who is out there going, how do I get into data analytics? Well, for us, we needed a team of people just to get started. You need systems engineers to understand how to deploy cloud-based models. You need software developers who are going to do the back end. You need the front-end designers to do the interfaces. You need a data scientist. You need your data managers, data statisticians. You need your domain experts, which in our case are food scientists and nutritionists and toxicologists. So this is a significant barrier. You know, even for food companies that are global, they don't have this capability. So we help them with that. But we're thinking, well, how do other companies benefit from this? And that's where I suppose tapping into a community and resources, it becomes really important. We mentioned this, if you can't communicate what you're doing with data, you won't get accepted, back to square one. Data science is not easy. We've seen a few interesting examples. You can do these online courses, but I think it takes a number of years of playing with data, playing with technologies to really get a deep knowledge of data science. And mentioned it briefly just now, but it's kind of plagued with this ad hoc development process that we mentioned about, you know, people write models in Excel or they might write them in R, but there's better ways to develop software. And Todd mentioned lean and agile. We're a big believer in that. And, you know, quality built in. So you have to build your quality as you're building your models and analytics. So we've adopted similar processes. So these are some of the challenges. Probably could list a few more if we had time to think about them. Also, there's a huge shortage of data scientists, and this guy here looks totally confused by all this data, but there is a shortage, and I think that's recognized on LinkedIn, and you know, it's so many jobs and opportunities in data science, not enough people to fill them, so we need to find a way. Okay, so we have a solution. We think we have a solution, or part of the solution, and it's all about connectivity again. It's about connecting with this data that's out there, be it open data, data that is coming from different sources, you know, private data, databases. How do you connect to that data? How do you connect to the best data scientists who understand that data? And how do you communicate with decision makers? And that's what we've been doing in CREM in our very specific area. But we've hit limitations in what we were doing in predictive modeling, so we had to build something new. So we built something that we needed to help us manage data, create models, create analytics in this kind of robust way that I was just talking about. And we think you might find it useful too. And this is a data science platform, basically, using all of the expertise we built up in deploying models on the cloud over the years. We've built a platform which will allow people to collaborate, first of all. So if you own data, but you don't know anything about analytics, you can plug in your data and collaborate with somebody. If you have a company that has analytics expertise, you can plug in through APIs your analytics expertise into this platform. If you're a decision maker who has data, you can request expertise, request suggestions, or you can join up with this community. So first of all, it's a bit like your Airbnb model. You have an online community. We have tools that we're building and have built, and we're selecting, actually, in the first instance, selecting the best open source tools to analyze data. So there's so much out there in the open source community that actually just being able to review all of this technology and make good choices around technology is a huge challenge, and we've done that. So we've selected the tools that we like and made them available to the community in a very easy-to-use format to analyze. That allows people to build models on this platform, giving them all the building blocks. It's kind of like Lego, except it's virtual, so probably a bit more like Minecraft. For any of you who have kids, probably know Minecraft. So it's a virtual Lego that you can build models. So we've created the building blocks because we needed them. And now we want to open them up to people because we don't know everything. We don't know everything about all the other domains of expertise in data analytics. We know a lot about predictive intake modeling, but we know there's a lot more out there. So these building blocks we think might be useful to people. You can build models, deploy them on the cloud, on the web, quickly and easily. So this is a challenge for data scientists who are experts in data. They might not be experts in creating beautiful websites or user interfaces. We've made that simple. We've made some really nice tools that allow you to visualize data, deploy your models, make it available on the cloud, literally in a few clicks. If you don't believe me, we'll show you later. So finally, connect. Connections are really key because, again, we're in a connected world, And we don't have all the answers, we don't have all the data, but we know we can connect into things. We can connect to third-party data, we can connect to open data, we can connect to other companies' APIs who have analytics services. And we want to make this a collaborative space where people can connect easily to anything they need in order to solve the problems that they are looking to solve with data. So this is the concept that we think can help with the democratization of data, and we're calling it expert models. So going back to my physics days, first principles of expert models really is access to data, access to technology on an equal basis that anyone can access. Anyone who has a web browser could access this. Collaboration with the best experts in the world. So if your company is a traditional logistics company based here in Ireland, you can access the best data scientists in the world through this platform. And finally, it has the right tools to facilitate that collaboration. So you can share data securely, you can request the right analytics, and the experts in the community can build and deploy that for you. So these kind of hark back to the principles of democracy, equal access, the right to have your say, the right systems and tools. So that's why we're calling it the democratization of data analytics. So thank you very much.